Anointed Faith Spiritual Center worldwide, where we believe that nothing happens by chance, that everything is by a divine appointment. Everything. And what we know is there is a power for good in the universe greater than we are, and we can use it, and we are using it every single day of our lives, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. So when we welcome each other in our beautiful sanctuary and our lovely intimate group this morning, and I also acknowledge for those of you who are tuning in right now, nothing happens by chance. This message is for you. And when we acknowledge this message, that our daily life is our temple and our religion, think about it. Our daily life is our temple and our religion. It's not just something that we come to on Sunday. Sunday is a reaffirmation of our daily life, which is our temple and our religion. It's about the community. It's about the energy of God, whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power, it matters not. But to acknowledge that which is within us is greater than that which resides in the world. And the world outside of us, that is the relative world. And we hear people say, well, in the real world, that is not the real world. The real world is within us, in which we live and move and have our being. The relative world is out there. It shifts, it changes, it does its thing. But the real world is within us. Choose thee this day whom you will serve. So I love our theme for the month is the Tao of success. In Taoism, Tao means the way of success. And that there is an energy in the universe. There's a divine flow. There's a law of circulation that is always, always working. And it works in accordance to the way that we work it. Right? And I hear people say, well, didn't work for me. Well, it worked the way you worked it. And if we're putting it out there that it doesn't work for me, guess what? The universe says you're absolutely right. It doesn't work for you. But when we open ourselves and say, this is a powerful way of life. This principle works for me. And the principles of success are our daily life, is our temple and our religion. So today we're going to talk about the power of mind. Last week it was the power of spirit, the very foundation of our being. And the Tao of spirit is the way of spirit is to acknowledge at a very, very deep level that we live and move and have our being in the recognition that that spirit is everywhere present and that we tap into it and it is within us. There's a beautiful Taoist story about a woodsman, and he made his living by going out into the woods, and he had his trusty shiny axe, and he would cut down a few trees, and then people in the village would come and they would buy and purchase his wood, and this is how he made his living. And one day he was out in the woods and he came back, and his axe was missing. And he thought, who could have taken my axe? This is my livelihood. This is how I make my living. And he thought, the neighbor's son. He always looked a little shifty. I know it's the neighbor's son. It's that boy. And so he ventured out to find the boy. And he was scrutinizing the boy. And the boy looked very guilty, and he seemed kind of nervous and was shifting back and forth. And he thought, this is surely the axe thief. And he looks very suspicious. And he was thinking all of this as he was interacting with the boy, and he thought, as he went home, I will now go to his father, and I will get this resolved. And so he left his little dwelling place, going out into the woods, and as he was approaching the father, who was also cutting down a tree, he noticed something glimmering in the sunlight. And he got closer to it, and there was his axe leaning against the tree. Now he was absolutely convinced that the boy was the axe thief. He acted suspicious, he was shifty, he was sneaky, all of these things. Because what happened was, he had already had a preconceived idea and already decided that this was his axe thief. suddenly there was his axe. And as he went home, he contemplated this, and he went outside again, and he saw the boy. The boy was doing just exactly what he had done before, but he didn't look so shifty. He didn't look so sneaky. And as he scrutinized the boy was just playing out in the woods and was being who he was. And he shifted his perception once again. And it's so interesting, the power of mind. Dr. Ernest Holmes, who was the founder of the science of mind, stated, to learn how to think is to learn how to live. And when we can make that shift in consciousness, and we can recognize that we could be mistaken with our preconceived notions and preconceived ideas. We very well could be mistaken. And that when we make the shift back, it's never as it seemed before. It's so interesting how that happens. We make a shift in consciousness. And the woodsman went out. There was something that glimmered in the sunlight. We go out into the world and we have these creative ideas that glimmer within the energy of our own heart and soul. And that we can pay attention to these things. These are the knocks at the door, the inner door. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man, woman, hear my voice, let them answer, and I will come into them and sup with them, and they with me. In other words, I will come into the energy and commune. And it is about communion with the Spirit that does reach beyond color, race, creed, sexual orientation, and political affiliation. It is the place of oneness within each and every one of us that ignites the flame of truth, that lights up the energy field. There's the axe. There it was all the time. Now, Joseph Campbell said that the sword is a benevolent instrument. It cuts things away. It cuts things away so that we can see and know the truth. It lasers to that truth that sets us free to be who and what we are. And I want you to know I stand before you today in this pulpit, on this platform, as I feel a living miracle. Because in October, November, December, I was awakened each time at 2 a.m. in the morning with incredible chest pain, down my arm, blocking my jaw practically. And on December 26th, I was with my kids, and in fact, I did not have Christmas dinner with them because I was having this pain. And on December 26th, we went to urgent care, and I had shared this the first Sunday of the year with you already. And then urgent care said, no, you need to go to ER, and then I went to the emergency room at Mercy Hospital in Arizona. They took tests and said, you need to get to a cardiologist the minute you hit down in Palm Springs. And I could not get into a cardiologist until they said first March, and then it was February. And then last Wednesday night, I had another incident of this incredible chest pain going down my arm and up to my jaw. And I was sharing with a friend, Stephanie, who's a mutual friend at Fleets and mine, and Alice's niece, who was a retired nurse and was in charge of the nurses at Desert Regional. And she said, no, we're going to go to the emergency. So we went to Eisenhower, and they admitted me immediately. Now, I have a certain network that knows the truth for me and with me, that prays and knows the truth. And so I texted my little network and said, please know the truth with me and for me as I go in for these tests. And what we know is the truth of me is that I'm perfect, complete, and whole, because I have a spiritual DNA. And when we get it, that we have a spiritual DNA, and that we are part of this energy of the universe that's for us, that the universe always has our back. So I went into all these tests, and let me tell you, I had IVs. They said, no, we're admitting you. This is definitely a cardiac event. So they admitted me, and I spent the night at Eisenhower. And then yesterday, I went through another series of pretty amazing tests that were rather grueling, some of them. And I just kept knowing the truth. And what they do now at Eisenhower Medical Center, they have a channel that has beautiful photographs from globally all over the world with meditation music. I had that station on with the global beautiful pictures of scenes of sunrises and sunsets and deer and the antelope and the meadows, and the music was amazing. And I have a lot of that music that was actually playing. It's called the Care Channel. I played that the whole 24 hours I was there. And I just kept knowing the truth with each test. Each attendant, I knew that they were part of my spiritual support system. Each doctor that came in, we connected at a heart level. And went through this whole battery of tests and the IVs, and now we're going to put something else in the IV and all of that. And so I spent the night, and at 4 o'clock yesterday afternoon, they came into my room, and the doctor said, you know, the cardiologist was convinced that this was a cardiac event, all of the symptoms. But all of your tests came out clear. Your heart is in good, excellent condition. And as I sat there, I said, I received this news as truly a miracle of the energy that we have sent out. And I shared about our spiritual support system, knowing the truth that you are perfect, complete, and whole at a DNA cellular level. And for me, you know, it's so interesting because you can say, well, you know, it's not heart-related, it's something else, you know, it could be this, it could be that. But I believe that we go into situations, and these situations are shifted by the knowing of the truth and speaking our word at a DNA cellular level, that there is one life, that life is God's life, that life is perfect, and that life is our life right here and right now. That whatever it is that is looming up is returned to its native nothingness from whence it came, because in truth, it is neither person, place, nor thing. Only the life and the energy that has been given unto it. That I could have IVs and needles all over the place yesterday and stand before you today and recognizing that this one life, which is God's life, which is my life, which is your life, everyone's life is working for us. It is an energy. And so we don't want to say, well, it could have been this or it could have been that. No, there is an energy working. We tap into that energy. We open to this energy. We step into that miracle, and we acknowledge this one life, which is God's life, which is our life now. And when we do that, when we open the space to allow God to do what God does best by means of each and every one of us, there's something glimmering. We reach out. We find it. It cuts through everything unlike spirit. It just clears the way, because the sword is a benevolent instrument. It clears away everything that is unlike the truth. So as we come together in this way of life, we don't ever want to minimize our spirituality. That prayer is the most powerful thing that we can tap into. And I've known many doctors that say, okay, we've done everything we could do. It's in God's hands. It's now in God's hands. And when we turn our lives over into God's hands, into a higher power, into the energy field that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life, we step into the miracle. So that energetically the way is made clear. And when he came in and said, all of your tests are clear, your heart is excellent. You know, and I could just give thanks. And of course, gave him a hug as well and just said, we have been knowing the truth about this. And see it as returned to its native nothingness from whence it came. And to feel so much conviction about it. And then the knowingness. When they say, to God be the glory, that there is a power and a presence in the universe greater than we are, and we are using it, let's be conscious that we're using it. Let's consciously not accidentally find the axe glimmering in the sunlight. Let's consciously go for it. Let's know the truth that sets us free to be who and what we are. Because we can make the shift. The Bible states, be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So the Tao of success, the way of success, is to acknowledge the power, the presence, the energy in the universe that goes before us and prepares the way. And that we don't have to force anything. And it's good to be mindful. And when we are mindful, then we create the results that are wanted and needed. And as these results come in, Dr. Holmes said, the only tangible thing in life are what? Results. Results. And I saw that this outcome, for me, yesterday, to be in this situation, and then, it was interesting when she took the IVs out and all of that, and I took some of the things out, and I had several things on my chest, and she said, oh, you already took those out. I said, yes, those were rather easy to take out, but I waited for you to take out the IV. And in the recognition that all of you have been so loving and wonderful to me. And I passed out angels, our interfaith angels, to the nurses. They were just thrilled and put them on their little name tags. And I said, you're all angels, that everyone here is part of my support system, that I am whole, perfect, and complete, and all the love and the energy. I said, you are the unsung heroes and heroines, in a hospital setting, but I definitely have appreciated and loved each and every one of you. So today, we are cutting away what no longer works. We are taking that sword of truth and we're cutting away to the core of who and what we are. And we're giving our own higher power the energy of the universe. We're giving that recognition that as I let go and truly let God, that God always gets the job done. Always. So today, we don't have to look outside of ourselves and, think this about that one or that, or they're acting whatever shifty way. And then we can make the shift. And when we make the shift, the universe opens in a way that it has never quite opened before. We made the shift. We acknowledge that this is an amazing universe that we live in, each and every one of us. And that when something goes on with us, it's so good to have our network. We have our ministry of prayer. And that prayer is the most powerful thing, I believe, in the universe. That we tap in to that God mind, which is absolutely there for us, and says, you are my son in whom I am well pleased. You are my daughter in whom I am well pleased. And that recognition that we are approved of, that we are loved, that it's a loving presence that wraps itself around us, and we are divinely protected. So on this day, as I greet you and I acknowledge at the deepest level my own gratitude to be in this way of life, that I could be in a situation yesterday that could have been, quite different than showing up today and being here today. And to have the strength after going through 2 days of rigorous tests, and to have the strength and to know that I myself can do nothing. There's a power within me that does the work. I let my humanness give way to the divine, so the Christ consciousness, the Buddha nature, the holy I am presence can show up and do what it does best. I love this way of life. I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful to be with you. And I am so grateful to be so wonderfully healthy. And, I just give thanks at just the deepest level. Because we're all going somewhere. And where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us. We are in a high place and we will not come down. So it is. I say namaste. The God in me celebrates the God in you. And the God in you celebrates the God in me. And if I am in that place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. I say to you, shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And God bless us, everyone. I love you, I'm grateful, and so it is.